Well, he was introduced to many of us on a little show called American Idol back in 2008, where he became a crush for so many screaming teens around the world. He sold millions of albums, but now he has an upcoming children's book and some new music. It's David Archuleta. How's it going?
Hey, Joseph. It's going well.
Yeah. The most popular question that came through that I just have to ask before we even get started is, were you crazy or were you falling in love?
The question remains to this day, Joseph. Never been able to figure it out.
Never been able to figure it out. So you were born in Miami and then you ended up moving to Utah. What was growing up in Utah like?
It was great. It was super chill, beautiful mountains, beautiful hikes. It can be pretty snowy. I don't know. It was good. I enjoyed it. It's a beautiful state. It's growing way too fast now. Everyone's found out about it. So
everybody wants to go now.
Yeah. Have you been to Utah?
I have been to Utah. I went for Sundance back like 3 or 4 years ago for actually, hypothetically, the movie from Dan Reynolds and Tyler Glenn from Neon Trees, which is the Love Loud. Yeah, so that was, I was producing on that back 3 or 4 years ago. So
oh, no way.
So when you ended up announcing that you're a part of the community, and then you're also, in the Mormon, religion and faith, like it was such a tie. I was like, oh my gosh, like I know exactly everything that you've probably like gone through or felt or dealt with. And I was like, this is actually pretty cool. So, yeah.
Very cool. I love Dan. Dan is great. I don't know Tyler as well. I've met him, but Dan, he's been one of my homies, and his wife, Asia. I just love both of them so much.
Yeah, they literally are like a godsend. I always say that, like the sweetest people in the world, the nicest people in the world, and they have like a good mission, and that's always like the cool part about it. I do want to ask you, after, you end up moving to Utah, when did you discover, or when do you believe that you knew you had the star power voice? Like, when did you know you had a good voice?
I mean, I knew I liked to sing probably when I was like 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt this passion singing, but I hated the way my voice sounded. So
Really?
I didn't really think I was great, even though I loved to do it. But it really terrified me thinking that I would imagine like how cool would it be to like be a singer, but that I didn't think I was good enough. To be frank, I really disliked my voice.
Wow.
And I struggled with that always, throughout American Idol even. I don't know. I just always had a hard time with myself.
But I guess my question to that point is that, you were on Star Search, you had other, competitions that you were doing before American Idol. When you were winning or doing well in those competitions, did you still doubt your voice?
Our next junior singer proved that soul is alive and well in Utah. Tonight, singing an Alicia Keys hit, Falling with No G, please welcome David Archuleta.
I keep on falling when out of love with you. Sometimes I love you, sometimes you make me blue. Oh yeah, I keep on falling.
David, I'm getting you some cornrows. You moving to LA. Naomi.
You're a soulful little Wayne Newton mini-me. He started when he was your age. He's still going strong. I think you will too. 4 stars.
Benstein.
Hey, this kid is the god grandson of soul. 4 stars.
Right on. Hey, Z.
I seriously, I don't understand how you do it. I am totally amazed. 5 stars.
Bling, bling. Sean and Nathan.
I tell you what, if we needed a 5th member, you'd be it. 5 stars.
Yeah, I was so confused. I'm like, what the heck? Like, do these people feel bad for me or something? I don't know. I was super negative all the time. I was super pessimistic about myself and my capabilities. And when I won Star Search, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And then I saw the girl who I competed with, and she was crying, so I started bawling and crying. Because I was like, why didn't she win? I was so upset that she didn't win when I thought she should have. And I was like, she probably wanted it more than I did, so why did I win? And I was crying. My studio teacher who was looking after me started crying because I was crying so much. So they were crying together. I don't know. I just was like, I didn't feel like I deserved it. And it's not like I really cared to win anyway, so I was like, why am I here?
Well, you obviously thought that there was a reason to push because you did end up on American Idol. I remember watching, it was the fight of the Davids, and I was, phoning through my landline in Tennessee straight for you.
Wow.
What in the world was that experience like? Because how old were you at the time? You were 16, 17?
Yeah, I was 16 and then 17 by the end of it. So are you from Tennessee?
I am.
Nice, because that's where I live now, in Tennessee.
Wait, where are you in Tennessee? Are you in Nashville?
I am. I'm in Nashville.
I was born and raised in Memphis, so down the trajectory, but still there.
Yeah, well, cool stuff. Sorry, what was your question then?
You're all good. What was that whole experience for you like, especially when you were, 16 and you're, going through puberty and going through so many things during that time? Like, what was that like?
So confusing. I was so lost. I feel like I didn't even remember half of what was going on. I just remember like having to get up every morning around 6 a.m. and just then do whatever the heck we were supposed to. I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been a music video, photo shoots, interviews, wardrobe, choreography, having to appear at an event, trying to figure out our arrangements, and then like getting mauled by all the people and paparazzi, whatever. I was just like, what is going on? Like what do I was like, what is going on? It feels like most of the time I just felt like I was blurred, like, I don't know, blurred. My mind was all foggy, but I mean, I got through it, and it was an amazing experience getting to and I didn't realize how many people really were gonna watch me until I would go out, and then people are like, "Oh my gosh, hey, I loved when you sang this," or what. And even till today, like when people come up to me and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, like I used to watch you with my family." Like it was really a time that like people spent with their family and with their friends and shared that time together. I was like, I didn't realize like people really like shared that moment with me in that way, like with all the people that they loved. It's pretty amazing, like how a show can do that for people.
That's actually pretty crazy that you said that, because I had never even thought about that. And then when you said that, I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like that would be like the family get together. You'd have your dinner, you'd watch it, you'd call in, you'd watch the next night. And that's so like, that doesn't happen anymore. Like you don't really have that experience. You also, like, I put up for you, like on my YouTube, I was like, what questions do you have for David? And the amount of people all over the world, it wasn't just the US, it was, all over, talking about how big of an impact you had on their life when they were younger, or that they were a humongous fan, or they really enjoyed like, going to like your concerts back a long time ago. What do you think the most positive thing to come out of American Idol was for you?
I mean, I think just being able to connect with people, that's the whole point of creating, I think. You can create all you want, but when you get to create something and other people can connect to it and feel something from it, is so rewarding. It's so satisfying. So, even if I was singing I sang other people's songs on American Idol, but I just got to put my own emotion into it, or like arrange it in a slightly different way, and share what I worked on. It's just like, it's almost like you draw a picture and like share it with someone else so that they can look at it and just, take in the colors and take in the details that you put into it to create an emotion for them to feel. That's how it was with those songs. And so to see that it actually did something for people, that's when I started really realizing, like, I guess I really can do something with this, like with singing in my voice, because it wasn't so much. I was learning to say, instead of like, well, that wasn't perfect, I don't have the tone of all these amazing singers that I like. It was just like, what I put into this helps people feel something. And so I was like, okay, I can keep doing that if I know, it was like the words of affirmation that I needed to say, to know that people enjoyed it. And it gave me the motivation and the belief to say, okay, then I really can make something that people can find joy from and like and want to listen to again. And if it's beneficial for them, then that makes me want to keep doing it. So I think I was just I had to look at it in a more practical way to find meaning and value into it. But to connect with millions of people just blew me away. Because I still had to do school every day on American Idol because I was still a minor. And so in the classroom, my studio teacher bought a map, because I would get fan mail. Like, it was still before DMs. It was just literal handwritten letters that people would send in every day. And so we started having a map of all the places and countries that we would have fan mail from, and that was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. And I also love that it was like a learning experience too, of where all these places were, to see where everybody is.
I was such a nerd for seeing the countries and maps and all that. So I was so excited, like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like so excited when we got all 50 states, and then I was excited when we started getting like all the continents other than Antarctica, and I was just like, wow, like I didn't realize how many people watched this show. It really was crazy. It was crazy.
The winner by 12 million votes of American Idol 2008 is David Archuleta.
And like just a few months ago, I was like in high school, just like, keep doing my thing, keeping to myself, whatever, hanging out with my friends. And then like a few months later, then it's like, it just happened so fast. It was nuts.
Yeah. Well, after all of that, and after like you experience the craziness of everything, you kind of go on your trajectory, you're releasing albums, you're becoming more of like a true artist identity. But then after a while, you ended up kind of like going on hiatus, right?
Yeah. I released a couple albums, did a Christmas album, and then in 2012, I took a break and I was a missionary for my church for 2 years in Chile, in South America.
Wow. And then with that, I remember before you started coming back around recently, I was like on TikTok, and it was like everybody was singing to themselves in a mirror to your song. Like, and that's after 10 plus years of you putting that out, like what in the world was that like to have like a resurgence in an old song of yours?
It was fun. Like, it just made me realize how random life is. Because I'm like, what? Yeah. Like, there's a girl from Singapore who she started the trend, at least with my song. There are a couple girls who are doing the mirror trend, but just singing. And I'm like, what? 10, 15 seconds is all. And it suddenly is millions of people were remembering Crush. And it was just so random. I'm like, how does life work? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I thought it was so fun. I thought it was awesome. I did it. I followed along with the trend and singing in the mirror, and you just never know what's going to pick up with people. It can be the most random thing. Like, you could spend thousands of dollars on a music video and like on promotion and stuff, and it goes nowhere, and you've just like spent all this money for nothing. And then like you can just have someone singing in the mirror to your song, and suddenly millions of people, and it's like more publicity than you've ever gotten in 5 years. So it's just, I don't know how life works, but I just go along with it. I just go with the flow, and wherever it takes me.
Well, speaking of wherever life takes you, I do want to touch on something that recently, you announced to the world. You did say that you were a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. I know that from my work and, working with Dan and Tyler and stuff, how the Mormon church at one point was not the most accepting of things, and how, suicide rates and stuff for LGBT individuals in the Mormon church is extremely high. I would love to know what led you to speaking out about that. And also, like, you didn't necessarily even put yourself in a box. You may have put yourself in the community world, but what led you to actually want to say that in public and actually, like, tell your truth?
Well, it was something I learned while I was a missionary, actually, for my church. It was like the first time I had a chance to just confront myself about it and be honest with myself, that I'm like, you know what, my feelings, I have feelings for guys, and I couldn't really run away from it. And so I talked to my mission president, and I was really embarrassed about it, but I just knew it was the time that I needed to confront it and talk to someone about it. And he was just so cool about it. President Warren, my mission, and I just love him. He was, instead of trying to like give me some words of advice or counsel or anything, he just like listened to me and just let me know that I was loved. And he just said, "This could be the most important day of your life, Elder Archuleta." And that was it. Like, he didn't try to tell me anything else. He didn't try to talk me, because I think he knew that it wasn't really his place to try and like figure it out for me, that it was for me to figure it out.
Yeah.
And he didn't make me feel any less. He didn't even tell me what I should try and do. Like, just nothing. He just simply let me know that he loved me, and that was it, and that I was fine. And so I feel like a lot of times people in religion, like, they don't know how to go about it. They think, oh, well, I need to tell them. I need to give them some kind of counsel and tell them how to go through this. But it's like I just need you to walk through this with me. But I mean, it took me a few years until after, when I got home from my mission, I let the rest of my family know. I let them know I was gay, but it didn't fully resonate with me to be just 100% homosexual. And so I was like, well, what am I? Like, I don't understand this. Because I felt like I had to pick. I had to choose. I'm like, Am I this or am I that? I don't know. And for years of not knowing, going back and forth, I'm like, well, maybe I am, or maybe I'm not, or maybe I am. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not as black and white as it was presented to me at first. And so it's like, for now, I'm like, I just say, I don't know. I don't know what my sexuality is. And it's some kind of, I just say it's this on the spectrum of bisexual.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that gives me the freedom to be me and to let people know my sexuality isn't just the norm and the standard. But that way I don't feel like I have to like be put into a box either. You know, I feel like it gives me space to be myself and figure myself out. And so, and I feel like also it was important for me to come to discuss it because I feel I was trying to make a relationship work with a girl and then another girl and another, you know, and it kept spiraling down. And I'm like, these girls are great. Like, they don't give me any reason to dislike them. And they're beautiful. Like, I'm attracted to them and stuff, but only to a certain point. And I was just like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And then, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but I don't want to admit that. And I think to help, especially help religious people know, because I'm like, I'm religious. I grew up religious. And I'm like, I'm doing everything I can to not feel attracted to guys. Absolutely everything. I went on a mission. I was like, if I go here, there's nothing getting in the way of my head to do anything that would be inappropriate. I'm not even here for myself. I'm living my life for Christ, for God, and these feelings are still coming, no matter how much I do to try and keep them away. And that's when I got to a breaking point where I was like, I need to talk to someone about this because this is bigger than what I can do on my own, bigger than what I can handle. This is not something I can just tell to go away, even though I'm trying year after year, prayer after prayer, fasting and fasting to try and change this because I thought this is bad. This is not how I should be. And after years, and you know, here I am 30 years old, and it's like, well, just coming to the conclusion, I'm like, you know what? This isn't going to change. Yeah. This is not something I can. Because I kept telling myself, if I work hard enough, it's going to change. If I pray enough, and if I focus completely on God, it's going to figure itself out. I'm going to marry a girl, going to have a family. It's going to be great. Just how God wanted it to be. At least that's what I thought. Yeah. And I feel like so many other religious people think the same way. It's like, well, that's a sin. God, from what we understand, has said that this is wrong. It says in the Bible, a man shall not lie with another man and things. And Christian cultures really clung on to that. And so it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I never had a relation, you know, I've never had a boyfriend or anything. And I was like, but the feelings are there. I'm screwed. I'm done. God must not like me. Because if he said this is bad and I can't get rid of it, and no matter how hard I am to try and follow him, I must have done something to get him upset with me. And so I felt like there was no hope for me. And I just was like, you know what? What do I do? Like, you just kind of feel like maybe I should leave God because he doesn't like me. Or maybe he's not there. Like, I don't know. Like, I had a faith crisis. So there's just a lot. And that's where you get to the point where it's like, maybe I'm better off not being here. You know, I don't want to be something God doesn't. If I really believe in him and I want to follow him, and in Christian culture, one of my friends, Charlie Bird, he wrote a book called Without the Mask, and he's from my religion too. He's a Latter-day Saint, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he was talking on this Instagram Live where he said so many people in religion, at least in our church, would say, well, you know, after this life, you'll be healed from all of the things you had. And after this life, you'll be made whole and clean thanks to Jesus and stuff. And he said that kind of conversation can be really damaging to someone whose sexuality is different from just heterosexual. Because then they feel like, oh, it's better for me to not be in this life and just to be in the other life than to be who I am. Because no matter what I'm doing, I'm still who I am. And that's devastating as far as my sexual feelings, my attractions. I think, and then he was also saying, like, people think that gay means sex. At least churches, a lot of churches do. They think if you're coming out as gay, it means sex, and you're going to become a sex addict or something. Yeah. And it's like, no, like, that's not what it means. But that's what people think it means. So they think, oh my gosh, like, I've got to save this person from that kind of lifestyle. And it's like, no, like, I wanted to present a different picture to people because I'm like, I feel like people in my church have an idea of who I am, the life I try to live, but I'm still who I am. I'm not heterosexual. I'm bisexual. So to show them what someone from the LGBTQIA plus community looks like, and to let them know, like, hey, I still believe in God. I don't know if this. I can't figure this out. I've tried everything I can to get rid of this, and I still can't. But I'm still saving myself for marriage. But I'm still like this. That doesn't change my feelings, even though I've tried to change them for decades. Just to help them understand what it means to be gay, and in a way that's not as foreign, in a way that's more familiar, to be like, oh, it's not what I thought it was. And so I'm seriously amazed at how much support my church community has given. Not everyone, of course, but the majority have. But I feel like that's also timing, because I feel like if I came out, when I first came out to my family, I don't think I would have gotten the same reaction, because I feel like it's something that's evolving, and I feel like I had to come out now, because I literally felt like impressed. Like I felt like I was out doing my yard work, pulling out weeds, and I just felt God say, "Hey, David, I trust you, right?" And I was like, yeah. And he said, "I want you to open up about what you've been going through with your sexuality right now." And it was like I knew exactly what I needed to say, and I was like, I was ready. And I was like, what? I think this is bigger than me. I was like, I don't feel comfortable talking about this because I don't know what people are. A lot of my community is religious. I was like, what are we going to think of me?
Yeah.
But I was like, I have to, because I think people need to know how God feels about that. He loves his LGBTQIA children just as much as anybody else, and they need to stop feeling like they're cast off and pushed away, because that's happened too much. So I'm like, okay, and I'm just so grateful for how things have gone. It's not always comfortable. I like to keep to myself, but
For sure.
I needed to make sure other people in my position I needed to let them know they're not alone, and then it helped me know that I'm not alone either.
And I think that that's the part about it, is that when we're going through life, especially like when you are part of the community and you are religious, the thing is that coming out helps so many other people, and that's what you're doing right now. So then that way, like where you said, like 10 years ago, whatever, if you were to do that then, you wouldn't get the same result as you do now. But you doing this is going to help the result for somebody 5-10 years down the road. And it's just going to make it easier and easier, to where when you are a child who is contemplating or trying to figure themselves out, or, wants to be part of their identity, but you're afraid of religion, hopefully one time down the road, we don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah. That's my goal. Like, there are some people, I had noticed some comments from people who are coming from a more like, I think I should say like a fearful take on religion. Because I feel like most people who have been supportive, like I said, just some people who are afraid of the topic of gay and homosexual or just LGBT, they'd be like, why is he saying this? Like, why does he feel like he needs to tell this to everyone? And what if kids are watching this and stuff? And my response would just be like, what? When I was a kid, 8 and 9 years old, and I didn't understand why my feelings were different from what people were telling me they should be, I wish I had someone who was talking about it to help me know that there wasn't something completely wrong with me, and that I thought I was the only person feeling the way I was, because I didn't know. Like, it was so foreign to me, and I didn't have any way to describe what I was going through. So I was like, I was in elementary school when that started happening, and I just never was able to figure it out until I'm 30 years old. So I'm like, I think if anything, it's helpful. I'm not telling them to like I'm not telling you, I'm still telling people whether you're religious or you're not religious, I guess I'm trying to reach out to the people who are religious just to let them know, like, it's still okay to accept who you are and have compassion to yourself, that your sexuality is different from the standard husband and wife picture perfect thing. Like, and you can still hang on, you can still love God. But people who are in that community, please just make room for those people who are still trying to figure it out. They don't have the answers, but they still want to go and worship God too. Please make room and don't make them feel left out. Because I feel like there's been too much of that, but it can change. I feel like it has to change. Because that's what God is. I don't think God would let anyone out. Because Jesus always went after the lost sheep. He always said he left the 99 to go after the one, and we've been letting the one get pushed out too long. At least with our LGBT folk, So I don't think Jesus would want that.
No, not at all.
He loves all of us.
Yeah.
And when I was trying to pray for my sexuality to change and go away, God said, David, you need to stop asking me that. Because I made you, and you need to understand that I don't see you the same way a lot of other people are going to see you. And I made you how you are. So you need to accept who you are, the way I accept you and see you. So I'm still learning that. That's still a process for me, because I grew up thinking something else,
Yeah. I think too, like you said the praying aspect of it. When I was brought up Southern Baptist, and I would go to bed every single night and I had a prayer journal. And I would always write in my prayer journal, I was like, God, please help me with the thing that I'm not going to say in this prayer journal in case my parents read it. But I was like, let's work on this. So literally, it was just journal after journal. And then it got to the point, like you said, where you're like, there's only so much you can do until you're like, it's not working.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about your tour that is now happening in 2022. I want to talk to you about your Movin' single, which I was completely moving. That vibe was very chill. I love the chill, like, cool vibe. How was writing that and, getting back to recording?
It was fun. Last year I did a therapy sessions album, so it was like more venting and like deep stuff. In 2021 I wanted just more light stuff. Like, let's just like have a fun time. Like, let's get moving. Like, I want to just let people have a good time. So that's why I released just last month Movin' single, and learned choreography and dancing for it and everything. Just to let people. I was like, just let's lighten it up a little bit here and just let people have fun.
Exactly. And wait, are you a good dancer? Like, do you pick up on steps easily, or
No, I don't pick up quickly, but I do like to move.
Yeah.
I like to move, but I'm a little stiff in my back and my shoulders.
Thus why the single's called Movin' and not Dancing.
Yeah. Pretty much.
You also have this children's book that is coming out, and that is extremely exciting. My Little Prayer. Like, how did that even come to be, and what led you to doing that? Because that is hitting a totally different demographic than what you're used to.
Children, yeah. I love kids, and I thought about my nieces and nephews when I was writing, when we were working on this project. And My Little Prayer is after a song I had in a dream, because I tried to, I try to say a prayer every day, and to start my day and end my day. And one night I had this dream, and I was praying, talking to God, and their music was playing, like these chords were playing, and I sang the prayer over those chords, and God told me to get up and write it all down. And I was like, but I'm sleeping. I don't know how to get up from a dream, I don't think. And he's like, if you don't get up now, you're going to forget it in the morning. Like, okay. So I did manage to get up and I wrote it all down. I didn't change anything about it because I felt like it was given to me. And I later decided to release it as a song and now as a book because I realized a lot of people have never prayed before. They don't know how to do it. So I was like, maybe I can just help people know what it's like, at least for me to pray. And the book really is to help kids learn what it's like to have how to talk to God, I guess. But also to know that when you pray, a lot of times we ask for things when we're praying, right? But a lot of time, I wanted to teach kids and just people, we don't always get what we ask for. And sometimes you're going to be disappointed with how life goes. Or that you didn't get what you prayed for and that we're hoping. But that you can still be happy and it can still work out and maybe you'll learn something even better than what you were asking for in the first place. So that's the lesson that I'm trying to teach kids with the book.
When is it out?
It comes out in October, as of now. Yeah, October. So hope they enjoy it.
That's so exciting. Get to write like author to your list of the resume. Let me ask you, what do you think the biggest misconception of David Archuleta is?
The biggest misconception? I don't know. I don't know what the misconception is that people have of me. I have no idea. I try. Oh, probably that I'm taller than I actually am. I'm only 5'5".
Okay, and what do you think people think?
They usually think I'm like 5'9". I think is what I've understood. Like 5'9", because people are like, what? Like you're only, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you're this small. I'm like, well, yeah, I am. So maybe that's the biggest misconception.
And my last question for you before I let you go. So you have your tour kicking off February of next year?
Yes. Finally, 2 years later.
Yeah, you have your single. What are you the most excited about? Like you're going to be going back on the road. That must be pretty exciting.
I am. I'm so excited. I've been able to do some shows, like some outdoor shows, some socially distanced shows. I mean, who knows? These might still be, I don't know what 2022 is going to look like, but I am excited to just be able to see the fans again. Even though I won't lie, it's been really fun to interact with them online because I feel like we've just had to, like, we've had to be more present, more interactive on social media. So I feel like it's been a great way to be more personable. I've been doing like online meet and greets and things like that, and
that's cool.
It's been fun. Like instead of like rushing people through a line or whatever, or like being blinded by the stage lights, and only seeing like the silhouettes of people. Like I've been able to be more one-on-one with people, so that's fun. But it's still nice to feel the energy of a live audience. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun to get to just be face to face with them again in the flesh.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, David, for being here with me today. Where can everybody find you on the social medias?
Most of them, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm all David Archie with an IE at the end, not a Y. And then Facebook, David Archuleta. And that's it. There aren't other ones. So if a fake David Archuleta is saying like, hey, I want you to donate to some kind of cause, whatever. It's not me. Just so you know.
It's not you.
I'll let you know.
Not you. Yeah. And down below in the description box, I will have the link to check out David's tour coming up. So you can click that, see what dates are coming up. And also the link to his music video for Movin'. That'll be right down below. Until next time, I'm Joseph Shepard, and that is David Archuleta. Thank you.